We, as human beings, share a collective delusion. We believe that four walls and a locked door are enough to keep the world out. We turn the key, we press the button, and we instantly feel safe. But what if your ultimate layer of security is actually a trap designed from the inside out? This isn't a story about ghosts or demons or things that go bump in the night. This is a story about modern convenience. It's about a technology we trust blindly, and a man who figured out exactly how that trust could be weaponized. Meet Liam. He's a successful true crime novelist under a brutal publishing deadline. To escape the noise, he rents a secluded, ultra-modern cabin in upstate New York, miles away from civilization, surrounded by nothing but dense, snow-covered woods. The property features the absolute pinnacle of home security, the Omni-Lock system. It's a high-end biosecurity lock that requires a direct Face ID scan or an authenticated device to open. No keys, no keypads. Liam is convinced he is entirely alone in a 50-mile radius. He thinks he's safe. He is dead wrong. The first 2 nights pass in complete, freezing silence. Nothing but the wind howling through the pine trees. But on the third night, at exactly 2:14 a.m., Liam is woken up by a sharp, high-pitched chime from his phone. In psychology, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. is often referred to as the dead hour, the time when the human mind is most vulnerable to panic. The notification reads, "Motion detected on the front porch." Liam gets up, goes to the window and peers outside. Nothing but pitch black darkness and falling snow. He shrugs it off, assuming it's just a stray deer tripping the sensor, and goes back to bed. But we need to stop and analyze how these algorithms actually work. Modern security cameras don't usually misinterpret blowing wind or falling snow. They are trained to track mass, heat, and slow, deliberate movement. They see things that human eyes miss in the dark. The next afternoon, Liam steps outside for a walk and his heart sinks. Stamped clearly into the fresh powder around the cabin are barefoot tracks. Human footprints. And here is the detail that shifts this from a minor nuisance to an absolute nightmare. The tracks lead from the woods directly to the front door. But there are no footprints leading back out. Whoever or whatever was on that porch last night never left the property. They were still there. Hidden somewhere in the blind spots, maybe the crawl space, maybe the attic, or maybe right behind him. The following night, exactly 2:14 a.m., the chime goes off again. This time, Liam doesn't look through the window. He immediately opens the live CCTV stream on his phone. What he sees on the screen defies logic. Standing directly under the porch light is an unnaturally tall, emaciated figure. The man's back is completely turned toward the camera, and his spine is contorted at a sickening angle. Look closely at his body language. This isn't a regular burglar looking for cash. This is the posture of a predator that has been living in the wilderness, tracking its prey for days. Liam's adrenaline spikes. He tiptoes to the front door, verifying that the deadbolt is digitally engaged. And then he realizes something terrifying. 2 days ago, during his walk in the woods, he lost his old, secondary smartphone. He thought it was buried under the snow. But it wasn't lost. It was harvested. The ultimate horror isn't knowing that someone is watching you. It's realizing that they are already 10 steps ahead of you. Liam is no longer a guest in a luxury cabin. He is an animal backed into a digital cage. And then, the unthinkable happens. The phone in Liam's hand vibrates, displaying a system override message. Face ID recognition success. Unlocking door. An algorithm doesn't lie. It doesn't have our imagination. According to the database, Liam is standing outside requesting access. But if Liam is inside the house, who is standing on the porch with his face? Is it a doppelganger? A glitch in the matrix? This is the psychological twist that defines modern techno horror. On the CCTV feed, the tall figure slowly rotates toward the camera lens. In his hand, he is holding Liam's stolen phone. And taped directly over the phone's front, facing camera, is a high-resolution, passport-sized photo of Liam. One that the intruder had pulled from the cabin's mailbox earlier that day. The stalker had bypassed the 2D facial recognition loophole of the Omni-Lock system. The smart home assumed its owner was standing outside. The very technology Liam paid thousands of dollars to keep himself safe was the exact tool used to breach his sanctuary. The entire house instantly shifts into emergency mode. The clean, white minimalist lights turn a deep, suffocating crimson. A low-frequency alarm begins to blare through the ceiling speakers. The heavy front door slowly swings open, letting in a gust of freezing wind and a few stray flakes of snow. A long, dark shadow stretches across the hardwood floor. Liam has nowhere to run. The nearest neighbor is miles away, through an unforgiving blizzard. What happened inside that cabin remains a mystery. When state troopers arrived the next morning, the house was immaculate, the doors were locked, and the security logs were wiped. Liam was gone. So, the next time you lock your doors using an app or scan your face to secure your life, take a second look. Are you really keeping the world out? Or have you just trapped yourself in a room where nobody can hear you scream? There is a unique kind of peace that comes with driving alone on an open American highway at night. Just you, the hum of the pavement, and the glow of your dashboard. We trust our cars. We trust the GPS to guide us through the dark, assuming that as long as we follow the blue line on the screen, we will reach our destination. But in the era of smart vehicles, your car isn't just a machine anymore. It's a computer on wheels. And once you hand over the wheel to an algorithm, you lose the right to choose where you stop. Meet Sarah. She's driving back from a late-night business trip in Colorado, heading home across a desolate stretch of Interstate 70. It's past midnight. The highway is empty, swallowed by a thick, heavy fog. Sarah drives a brand new, fully autonomous smart EV, the kind of car that monitors your lane, adjusts your speed, and automatically updates your route based on real-time traffic. She sets the car to autopilot, leans back, and lets the satellite navigation take over. She thinks she's in control. But control is just a comforting lie we tell ourselves. At exactly 1:15 a.m., the car's central infotainment screen flashes. A robotic voice chimed through the premium speakers. Route updated due to hazard ahead. Please prepare to take the next exit. Sarah looks at the screen. The GPS is redirecting her off the main interstate and onto Route 9, a notorious, unlit dirt road that cuts straight through an abandoned mining valley. She looks out the windshield, but the highway ahead seems perfectly clear. She tries to override the system, pressing the cancel button on the touchscreen. Nothing happens. The screen is completely frozen. Let's pause and examine the psychology of this moment. When our technology malfunctions, our first instinct is to assume it's a minor glitch. We restart, we wait, we adapt. But we rarely consider the alternative, that the machine is doing exactly what it was programmed to do by someone else. Before Sarah can react, the car smoothly activates its turn signal, moves into the right lane, and steers itself off the highway. The smooth asphalt of the interstate is instantly replaced by the violent rattling of gravel. The bright highway lights disappear, leaving Sarah in pitch black darkness, surrounded by dead trees. She presses her foot firmly on the brake pedal. The pedal goes completely soft under her shoe. The car doesn't slow down. It actually accelerates. Panic sets in. Sarah pulls out her smartphone to call for emergency roadside assistance. But there is zero cellular service in the valley. She looks at her car's dashboard. The digital speedometer is climbing, 55, 65, 75 miles per hour, on a narrow, winding dirt road. Suddenly, the interior cabin lights begin to flicker. The climate control shifts on its own, blasting freezing cold air into the car until Sarah can see her own breath. And then the real horror begins. The car's proximity and blind spot sensors start going haywire. On the digital dashboard, a graphic display shows a 3D radar map of the vehicle's surroundings. A red human silhouette appears on the screen, indicating that someone is standing right next to the driver's side door. A second later, another silhouette flashes on the radar, sitting directly in the back seat. Sarah frantically glances into her rearview mirror. The back seat is completely empty, but on the dashboard screen, the digital figure is leaning closer and closer to her seat. The car's internal cameras aren't glitching. They are registering a thermal mass. Something is inside the car with her, hiding in a spectrum of light that the human eye simply cannot perceive. At 2 a.m., the music system cuts out, replaced by a low, distorted audio feed. A voice, scrambled through a voice changer, fills the cabin. It doesn't ask for money. It doesn't make demands. It simply reads out Sarah's home address, her social security number, and the names of her family members. This is the terrifying reality of modern carjacking. It doesn't happen with a broken window or a crowbar anymore. It happens from a laptop, thousands of miles away. A dark web hacker had gained access to the manufacturer's server, sending a malicious firmware update directly to Sarah's vehicle over the air. They had locked the doors, disabled the physical brakes, and overwritten the steering. The car was no longer a vehicle. It was a remote, controlled casket traveling at 80 miles an hour toward a predetermined destination. Sarah watches in terror as the GPS screen finally unfreezes. The ETA drops to 1 minute. The map shows the destination, an old, abandoned shipping yard at the end of the road. In the distance, through the heavy fog, Sarah can see the faint glow of headlights. A black SUV is parked in the middle of the yard, its doors open, waiting. The smart car glides into the shipping yard, automatically shifting into park. The engine hums quietly. Sarah pulls frantically on the interior door handles, but the child locks are digitally engaged. The windows won't budge. The headlights of the parked SUV blind her, making it impossible to see the faces of the figures stepping out of the vehicle and walking toward her car. The central screen flashes one final time, displaying a cheerful message. You have arrived at your destination. The locks click open. The screen goes black. We spend billions of dollars every year making our cars smarter, faster, and more connected. We upload our lives, our locations, and our routines into the cloud. But remember, every digital door you open to make your life easier is a door that someone else can use to walk right in. The next time your GPS tells you to take a shortcut through the dark, maybe ignore the screen. Take back the wheel, because you never know who is truly driving. If this story made you look twice at your dashboard, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Stay safe out there on the road, and keep your eyes on the rearview mirror.